Hi, it feels like ages since the last devlog for Lumbermill, but I promise I have been working on the game. I finished off the letters system from the last video, created some new hairstyles for female staff in the game, and added the entire loan system. I'll get into all of that in this video. So, the first task was to create a way for the letters that I designed last time to actually appear on the screen. For those new here, letters come in throughout the game from various places in order to tell the player about something important. So I set up the animation for that, which was a little tricky as it needs to start at the bottom of the screen and end in the middle, regardless of screen resolution. With some experimentation with the anchors in Unity, I got that working and created a class for letters. I'll use that later on to dynamically generate the text in the letters. I then coded a hover feature where if the player hovers their mouse over the letter, it pops up slightly. I of course had to set up all of the associated transitions in Unity to allow this animation to fit in with the others. Once I'd done all of that, I got this. When you hover over the letter, it pops up. Next, the letter should move to the center of the screen and open when clicked. That was more of the same, coding the click trigger and setting up transitions. Here's the result I got at first. It works, but it feels a little slow. It's generally good practice to make sure animations don't get in the way of functionality like this, so I shortened the animation and this was the result. It still needs a bit of tweaking to feel fully responsive, but I'm happy with this for now. Next, the letters obviously need to be correctly addressed to the player. That's quite simple to achieve, using the name the player enters at the start of the game as the first line of the address. At this point, I live streamed the development of a template reader for letters. What this essentially does is take a template, which is a text file, which has a bunch of keywords in it. The game then looks at this template and replaces the keywords with things such as order counts, company names, and basically anything that a letter might be written about. These templates can be chosen at random, creating a bit of variation between different letters you receive. I took a bit of a break from coding at that point to draw some hairstyles for female staff in the game. I haven't added them to the game yet, but they're ready for when I get a break between major features. I then added a close button to the letters so that the player can actually remove them from the screen when they're finished reading. I then had a week or two off from development, as it's currently exam season for me and I've had quite a bit of work for that. Since getting back to uni, I've tried to get out on my bike a bit more, as Sheffield's really close to a lot of nature and it's good getting out of the city for a bit. I eventually got back into developing the game, as it's very easy to lose motivation when you have a bit of time off. I got on with designing the next major feature, loans. I know what you're thinking, loans generally aren't all that fun. They're always a feature of games in this genre though, and can actually be crucial when you want to build something new, unlock something, or just need a bit of extra money. I've tried to design something that's as interesting as possible though. I'll show you how. With the design messy but finished on paper, I jumped into Unity to get the layout all set up for coding. I then went to the Discord to get some ideas for creative tree-related bank names. Some of the suggestions were awesome, and some not so great, but I appreciate the effort. Here are the current favourites. If you have any ideas, let me know in the comments. With that, I created a scriptable object type for banks, which allows me to set crucial values such as interest rate, minimum loan, and of course the bank's name. I linked up the basic data fields on the interface with those values, and this is how that looked. There are 3 banks to choose from, and they each have different loans on offer, but this doesn't display that yet. I then spent a day or so just doing all the programming to get the whole interface working, and loans actually generating correctly. This is how it looked at first. When you accepted a loan, that particular offer would stay lit up, and some of the data would change, but that seemed very unclear to me and honestly looked more like a bug. So I went back to the drawing board, designed a whole new section of the interface for displaying existing loans, and this is how the loan system finally turned out. You start by clicking the new loan button. You then select a loan amount with the slider, and banks become available as you meet their minimum loan. You can then choose a loan by clicking accept. The money will then appear in your bank and you begin repaying the loan. The interface displays information such as how much you're paying a month and the option to repay the loan immediately, which will always cost less or equal to paying monthly. Hopefully this will all prevent the system from being abused. I've sped up the footage here, but as payments come in, the progress bar fills, and when the loan is paid back, it disappears from the interface and frees up the slot for another loan. And at last, I can tick that task off on Trello. All that's needed now is a decision on bank names and designs for their logos. Thanks for this video. Of course, go to my patrons and Nick in particular. If you want to check out my Patreon, the link is in the description. You can also wishlist the game on Steam and you'll get a notification when it comes out. The link to that is also in the description. That's all for this week. If you like the video, do subscribe. Thank you very much for watching.